Awesome, welcome back to HornThrowers. We are joined by Lord Ahriman from Dark Funeral. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So your new album, We Are the Apocalypse, has been out for a little while now. How do you think that's gone down and been received?
It's been received very well, and we can see that on this tour. When we play the new songs, people are going mental, and of course they like some of the old classics that we were playing also. But I was kind of surprised that normally the new stuff is, of course, if you have some good material, then people like it, but people tend to like the older stuff also.
Yeah. Especially when they've been around for a while. And
yeah. But on this tour, it's been like when we start playing the new songs, people are going fucking mental, and yeah, it took me a little bit by surprise. But I'm really, I think it's really cool that people really dig the new stuff as well.
Awesome. So, like in the last couple of years, like black metal's had kind of like a resurgence in popularity with for better or worse, for films like Lords of Chaos, stuff like that. And as a band that had been kind of there from the start of like the second wave of black metal since like about '93, you guys started.
Yeah.
I think. Like, how are you feeling about that? Sort of like films, projects like that are kind of, in one way, popularising black metal, but are also kind of a bit controversial at the same time.
Well, I kind of don't look what's going on around, what we are doing. I do Dark Funeral, and I'm kind of closed in my own little world. So we just keep going with what we are doing, and whatever else going on around isn't, I don't pay too much attention to it. On the other hand, I think it's great, when bigger crowd come to the shows and appreciate the music and understand.
Sorry.
Yeah, and when people also understand the type of music that we are doing. So it's like, yeah, some good and some negative aspects of it.
Yeah.
When it gets popularity.
Yeah, then that's fair. So I know one thing that you've been quite outspoken about recently, and I know it's been causing a lot of issues for touring bands in general, is venues starting to take larger and larger cuts of merch, and it's making the life of a touring band so much harder. What's your experience of that been like?
Yeah, I think it's complete fucking bullshit. Because normally you pay these venues for a service you don't even get anything about, and there's no limit, if, some days, on tour, some days you play smaller clubs, you sell less merch, some days you play bigger ones, then you sell more, and it tends to be those bigger ones, the few times when you can have a chance to really, get some profit to pay all the fucking bills. That's when they come and fucking grab that extra profit you get, and you're kind of left with nothing. I don't think they realize how much they hurt the scene.
Yeah.
We are doing all right. It hurts us financially big time because, touring nowadays is so expensive. So every penny we can make on merch is, very important. But I'm thinking, more smaller bands, the only income they have is the merch. And if then you're going to take 25% commission and then 27% tax, there's like 50% on the total that's left to pay the free, shipment out for the merch, the printing, and all that. So it's like I can't see how younger bands are going to be able to go on tour in the future if this continue.
Yeah.
And that kills the scene. As I said, we're on a level that it's all right. It hurts us bad, but we managed to pay the bills to go on tour, but we're not making much money. I can't see how this can keep on going and the scene going to survive it. This is just, I can't see that happening. So we got to stop this before it goes too far.
Yeah, because it's like in the older days, labels wouldn't even take merch cuts or anything. things like that, that would be purely the band would get that, and the labels would just take for like, you know, records and things like that.
Yeah.
But now it's just everyone's kind of like taking a bit more from bands, and it's just
Yeah, and I think that's the easy way out. You know, the venues have a chance to. I mean, of course, I understand they gotta make money also, but be fucking more creative. Offer the crowd, you know, more interesting stuff at the shows, at the venue, you know, where they can make money. There's some venues around in the world who have, you know, they built up a brand for the club. You know, they have T-shirts and, you know, different kind of things and activities for the crowd. Go that way instead of, you know, without the band they're gonna shut down. So, you know, if they keep on doing this to us, we're gonna be out of, you know, we're not gonna be able to tour, and they will be out of job too.
yeah.
So I don't think they think in the long run how much damage this is doing. And I feel like more and more bands start to speak out about this, and I think it's my duty to also inform the fans that it's not the band, it's not us who want to have this high merch prices at the venues, but we are forced to put up like $5 or something because the venue take all the, you know, that piece of the, you know, so we got to kind of balance everything. And yeah, it's not, you know, we got to pay the bills for printing the merch, the artworks and everything, you know, shipment to the out to the clubs and things like that. So
And also like the band and crew need to get paid as well. Like,
exactly,
yeah.
the crew needs to get paid, and you know, we're paying all the tour bills from merch income, and of course we have a small guarantee too that helps paying, you know, the bus and stuff like that. But every time we go on tour now, I'm so fucking worried if, you know, when the end bill comes, it's like, okay, where we're going to end on this. So it's always this stress factor to go on tour nowadays. But so far it's been going pretty well. So
that was going to be my next question. Like, obviously it's a interesting bill. You've got 2 death metal bands, 2 black metal bands on the bill. How's that going? Because I know you were like 8 weeks into the tour now or something like that, so it must have been, you know, pretty hard going.
7 weeks. I think, you know, all the bands on the tour, you know, the chemistry between everybody is killer. Everybody getting along really well, and I think, you know, I prefer this type of mixed tours because it's also, you know, it's more interesting to me because I must hear all the bands more or less every day.
Yeah.
So and to only listen to black metal bands doing the, you know, the same style that would be kind of boring. And I think it's also more interesting for the crowd. You know, some people go and see only Cannibal, some go and see us, and some maybe Ingested and Stormruler. But at the same time, they get a chance to discover new bands also, and new styles of extreme metal. And I think that's a cool thing about doing this mixed package. You know, it's, you know, you have the extreme metal as a common factor, but we're doing it in different ways.
Yeah. Like black metal brings like the more atmosphere and stuff like that, and death metal goes a bit harder and stuff like that.
Yeah, and personally I prefer this type of tours, and I think, you know, looking at the response from the crowd for all the bands on this bill is, I think everybody have been doing really well, and people really like this. But it's difficult sometimes, you know, promoters and bookers want to have this death metal tour or black metal tour, or, you know, and they should look on you know, this type of tours. They work good, and back in the day when we did this type of tours, and it will work nowadays too. So I think, you know, some people behind us in the business are a little bit more close-minded than us from the bands, and I guess we probably have a little bit more experience than they do, so they should listen more to us.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking as a fan as well, it's always more interesting when you've got like a bit of a different lineup as opposed to just one genre. Yeah, so what next is coming up for Dark Funeral? Like, is there anything kind of in the works, maybe an album, future plans?
Well, we're going to go home 2.5 weeks, and then we go straight to North America for another 5 weeks. Then we fly back straight to Hellfest, and then we start summer festivals. So this year is quite insane when it comes to shows.
They're kind of making up for a lot of like missed opportunities because of the pandemic and everything.
Yeah, but also I guess the new record are doing really well, and the offers are better than ever. You know, the interest for us seems to be bigger than ever. So, and we've always been that kind of band that just we go with the flow and just, you know, if there's a good offer coming out, we do it. And but I don't think we're ever gonna do another 7-week tour, to be honest.
It does sound pretty brutal.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind being on tour for so long, but for this tour I had a surgery in my stomach like 3.5 weeks before the tour. So I feel like it was kind of gambling to go on this type long tour.
Because especially like with like extreme vocals, it comes from like the diaphragm and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but I play guitar, so.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but it's still, you know, in the first couple of weeks I couldn't have the guitar close to me, so I was had to play with the guitar outside from my body, and you know that was hard to have control over your playing. So it was a challenge. So there was many things that, yeah, it was kind of a little bit overkill to really get into this, but I didn't want to cancel. You know, it was so much planning beforehand, so I felt like I got to do what I can, and yeah, now we got 3 more gigs, and I survived it. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the interview and whatnot.